Let's talk about infinite series. Let's start with our same example that we had in the last video. But in this case, we'll change our r. So we'll say a sub n is equal to a sub o. Actually, let's just pick an a sub o right now. We'll say a sub o is 2 times some r, we'll say is point, I don't know, 0.75. And we'll say that this is to the power of n minus 1. And I did n minus 1 so we can start with our first term as just 1. So let's talk about this series a little bit. We'll say, so let's figure out what a sub 1 is. Well, a sub 1, we can just plug in 1. We get 2 times 0.75 to the power of 1 minus 1, so to the power of 0. So it's 0.75 to the power of 0 is 1. So 1 times 2 is 2. A sub 2, let's plug that in. A sub 2, we get, so this is 2. A sub 2 is 2 times 0.75 to the power of 2 minus 1, so to the power of 1. So it's 75% of 2. 75% of 2, let's see. 50% of 2 is a 1. 25% of 2, it's 0.5. So this should be 1.5. Let's do one more. A sub 3 is 2 times 0.75 to the 2. 0.75 times 0.75, let's see what that is. 5, 2, 7, 3, 0. Let's see, 5, 3, 49, 2, 5, 5, 2, 1, 11. So 0.6125. So this is 0.6125 times 2. So this should be 1.22, let's see, I believe 250. Something, I believe that should be it, yeah. So this is the third term of the sequence. Now, what if the question says, does the infinite sum of the series, which we'll define it like this, s of infinity of the a sub n, which is equal to the infinite summation from n equals 1 to infinity of a sub n, does this converge or diverge? So let's talk about what converge means. So to converge means the infinite sum of this series, again, if we add all the terms in this series to infinity, it goes to a certain number. So it goes to L. We'll just say some value L. This means the series converges. What does it mean for the series to diverge? Well, the series diverges if the infinite summation of the series goes to infinity, or maybe negative infinity. This means the series has diverged. Now, let's talk about this specific series. Well, we know that we can use the formula for our infinite sum in this case, which is the first term, a sub 0, over 1 minus the rate, to find our infinite sum. So in this case, the first term is 2 over 1 minus 0.75. 1 minus 0.75 is 0.25, so this is 2 over 0.25. And this is just 4, and you can plug that into, this is 8. You can plug that into your calculator to make sure. So the infinite series, the sum of the infinite series of this series right here goes to 8. And for that reason, it converges. Now, what if we have a different series? That is this right here. Let's say a sub, we'll call it b sub n, so we don't confuse it with our a sub n. We'll say b sub n is equal to 3 times 2 to the power of n. Okay, so let's discuss this series a little bit. Let's find the first term, which is a sub 1. Well, if we plug in 1 for n, we get 2 to the 1 times 3, so it's just 6. A sub 2, 2 to the 2 is 4, times 3 is 12. A sub 3, 2 to the 3 is 8, times 3 is 24. Seems like this series is just increasing as we go, right? A sub 4, let's see, 16 times 3, that's 48. So it seems like it's increasing exponentially, right, by 2 every time. So 6 times 2 is 12, times 2 is 24, times 2 is 48, etc. So now let's figure out if this series converges. So if we take the infinite sum of all the terms of b sub n, so I can denote that by n from 1 to infinity of b sub n. Well, if we start adding the terms, we get 6 plus 12 plus 24 plus 48 plus dot 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 dot. What do you think happens? Pause the video here, think about what happens to the infinite sum of this series. Alright, I'm assuming you've paused the video and had to go at it. Well, if we add all the terms of this infinite series, every term is larger than the other one, right? So if we plug in 5 right now, this will become 96, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you add all these numbers to infinity, well, that just goes to infinity, right? The summation of this series will just go to infinity. And for that reason, there's no specific value for this summation. It's just, quote unquote, infinity is the answer. And for that reason, we say this series diverges. The infinite series diverges. So again, converges means the infinite series goes to a certain value. And when I say infinite series, I mean the summation of the series. The infinite summation of the series converges. And then when I say infinite series for this one, again, I mean infinite summation of the series. And in this case, it goes to infinity, so it diverges.